Okay, let's start with our exercise 4. It has asked us to create a function called prime out that takes an input, a number, a vector, or a matrix, okay, anything, and it has to perform this task. Okay. So let's see what it has asked. If it is a number, if the input of the function was a number, check whether it is a prime number or not, and return associated this kind of a string. So if the input was a matrix, we are asked to do a different task that return the list of all the numbers. Okay, all the numbers that are prime in that matrix. Okay. But if somehow, if I input as in string, if I provide a string as input, then I have to write this. I have to return this. Input must be numerical array. This kind of condition. Okay. Now just pause the video and try to read. So in the last exercise, you have seen how to write a factor, this function, factor of say, if I write 7, 78, okay, I get these are the prime factors of this number. But if I provide something like this, say for example, a character, so how do I get? I get an error, but it is actually, along with the error, it is actually providing me a message that is saying that n must be a scalar. Okay, so in this exercise, we are actually trying to do something like that. We are creating a function of by ourselves, but somewhat, so for example, when you build this function, if I actually somewhat, if the user enters something like this, then we want to return something like that. Okay, so let's do this. So for example, say function, this is function, this is our out is equals to what is the name I actually asked? So prime out. You can use another name by yourself if you want. So this is going to be the input. Okay, so let's see input, and then I'm going to finish it with an int, save it. Okay, oh, I have already created it. Let's save it as 2. So as you can see, when I have named the file name as different, there is a red bar. Okay, so I have to change the name of the function same as this. Okay, file name. Now it is clear, getting me, and now it is actually okay. It is clear. Now let's see how do we actually understand, okay, different types of input. How do we can actually understand if the number, if the input is a number or a string or a matrix? How can we do that? So I have written something like this. So let me show you. Say for example, there is a function that is called if I write y is equals to say Bruce Wayne. So this is a character array, right? We can actually find it like this way: class of y is going to this, right? So similarly, in front of that, if I just put a is, like is car, okay, before the name of the class, and try to ask whether it is true or false, it is going to provide me a logical true. Logical one means true. So if I write something like this, is car of say 78, now I'm going to get a 0. Logical 0 means false. That means this is not a character array. Okay, let's take a look at something else. Say for example, I write something x equals to 2 comma 3, again 5 comma 6, 5 comma 7. So this is a matrix, right? Now if I write is character of x, I'm going to get a 0. But if I write is matrix of x, I'm going to get a 1. So similarly, so there are some functions like this. If you take a look at it, I have named many of them. So it is these are actually checks, okay, whether the input is of this category or not. Okay, so let's start with something like this. We are going to write a conditional statement, if you remember. So what let me show you. If you actually don't understand conditional statement and so far, so try to understand this thing. So how do we write that? If we provide a statement here, if provide a statement, and then we say this is like, there is a statement, there is a conditional statement. If this statement is true, then it is going to run this. Okay, if not, it is going to go to the next line. Okay. If not, say for example, we can provide this, that is called, sorry, else if, again another statement. Okay, okay, I can write another else if. I can actually provide multiple else if I want. Okay. Okay, again I have some statement there. If this is true, then run this. Finally, we can actually finish it with an else. Okay, else. Then when I am writing an else, we don't do a statement there. Okay, let me explain. So the thing is that first we write a if condition, then we provide a statement. Okay, if this is true, this will run. This run line will run, and then it is going to return. We have to end it with an end. Okay, we have to finish it with an end. Okay, let me make it clear. So what we do here, first we write a if condition, if, then we provide a statement. Okay, it is going to check if this statement is true, perform this. Okay, and after performing this line, it is going to return the function handle to this end. Okay, that means this conditional statement is this loop is closed. It is not going to see what is inside. Okay, what is after that? It is directly going to go to end. But if it finds that this condition is false, okay, it is going to take a look at the next else if this statement is true, then it is going to run this one whatever inside, and then it is going to end. Okay, but if it finds that this is actually false, this is also false, then it is again going to the third one. Okay, it is going to run check this. If it is true, then run this, and then end. If it is false, okay, if all the three is false, it is going to run whatever in the last statement. It is not going to check any statement now. It is going to run if this is not if this three is not actually true, then it is going to run whatever is in the else condition. Okay, okay, let's take a look at the example. It will be much clearer then. So we write something like this: if. So we are going to write if star is x. That means if our input was a character, return something like this: out is equals to input, okay, must be. So since we are going to check something like prime number or not, the input must be a number. Okay, so this is done. Now if, okay, so okay, let's finish it. Let's do it step by step. Now if I just try to run it, prime number of prime out of 2 of say I get 7, it is going to return nothing because it is only checking this condition and it is finding that this is false. So since this is false, it is not going to run this line and it is going to end. And we have not defined any value for out, so it is not actually giving me any value. Okay, but if I write something like this, like, okay, so now I'm going to I'm getting an output that is called input must be a number. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now we are let's add some other line. Else if. So else if. So else if means, so if this is false, then check this. I have to write a statement here. So what is the statement? I want to see if I have a matrix or a number. Okay, now how can I do that? But let's say, for example, we did something like is matrix function. But if I write something like this 5, it is still going to give me a true because this matrix is thinking of 5 as a 1 by 1 matrix. Do you understand? When I write this 5, okay, it is considered as a 1 by 1 matrix. So we cannot actually check it using the matrix function, right, like this. What we can do, there are 2 or 3 ways. One simple way that we can actually check what is the size of the input. So for example, if I write size of 1, I'm going to get 1 comma 1. Okay, and for a matrix, it is either going to be 1 comma 2 or 2 comma 2 or something like that. So you can do like this way, that else if size of x, okay, we are going to use the is equal function. If you remember from our first lecture, there was a function called is equal. Else if is equal size of x comma 1 comma 1. Okay, I am checking this output is 1 comma 1. If this is true, then run this, then run out is equals to, now we are before route, we are going to check first. That's the check is prime. That is another function for checking whether the input is a prime number or not. Okay, so we are going to write this check. We are giving a statement check is equals to is prime of x. It is going to return true or false. For example, say if I write is prime of 88, it is going to return false. But if I write is prime of 87, so it is also false. Let's try something like 77. 79. Okay, this is a prime number. All of these are non-prime. Okay, so 79. So it is going to return me true or false. Okay, so when I check this, so we can write something inside the else if statement. I can write another if else condition again. If check, I am not checking anything. I am just writing check because this check is holding this logical one or true. So if check, if true, out is equals to input is a prime number, else out is equals to. Okay. So try to understand what is actually happening here. Okay, let me comment these things out. Okay, so what's happening here? Okay, I said we can actually write a statement. Okay, let me finish all of those things. I said we can actually write a statement here, and this statement can again be a if-else condition. Okay, I can also provide if-else condition inside. If this statement is true, if true, run this. If it is not true, just else. Else means it is false. Run this. Okay. So inside a else if condition, we can actually again provide a if else condition again. Okay. So when I write like check, it is going to find that the check is true. It is going to run this. If that is not true, it is just going to run this. Okay. So this is our else if is done. Now I am going to write another else. This else, okay, I have ended this if with this end. Okay, I have ended this if. This if else condition is done. Now I'm writing to this one. That's why the indentation is actually a very useful way to actually differentiate between different parts. Okay, so I have this else, and I'm, since if this is not a character array, if it's not a number, then it must be a matrix. Okay, we can actually assume like that way. So then we are going to else, we are going to find something as something that is called, if our input was a matrix, like x was a matrix, we are asked, okay, if input is a matrix, return the list of elements that are actually primes. So how we can do that? We can write something like this. If I write is prime of x, it is going to perform all of those things. Then what we want to do, if you remember, we can just do something x of is prime of x. That means we are going to find out the x from these ones. We are going to find all the values that have 1. So 2, 3, 7. Okay, because this 2 has 1, this 6 has 0, so it is not going to give me that. But 3 is 1, 7 is 1, so it is going to give me that. So we can write something like this: input x is prime of x. Okay, so I can actually put it. So let's put it here. But our output variable was out, so we have to put it in the output variable. Out is equals to, this was a column array. I want to return it as a row vector always. So let's run it. So this is going to, okay, flip it, and this is then done. So our in condition is if, and in is also done. So I believe it is clear. So let's try to run out our prime function. Prime out. Okay. So when I'm giving a character, it is going to return me this. Input must be a number. Let's try to define something like this, like 66. Input is not a prime number. Let's try something like, okay, let's try something like this: magic of 7. Okay, it is going to provide me all the numbers that were primes in this magic function, or say something like this: say 7, only 7. Now input is a prime number, so we have actually performed all of this task. Okay, so this is how you can actually write a conditional statement. So just write it on your own in your own MATLAB, and probably there will be exercise, okay, and where you can actually check it by yourself how to actually write this multiple if is condition and actually keep it right. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now there is one other thing that I actually told you here. Okay, that is called the toolbox. I'm going to discuss it in the next lecture. Okay.